back for another weekly forecast. I hope that you guys have had a fantastic trading week, and I am looking forward to going into a new month with some new trades. If you are new to the channel, I just wanted to preface that this is helpful mainly if you are someone who is a day trader, intraday trader, or a swing trader. I don't do too many situations where I'm doing any kind of scalping, so that may not be as helpful, but I have said on previous episodes where it is kind of the same concept. Maybe you're just keeping or holding your positions for a shorter period of time if you are a scalper. So it still may serve as helpful for you to kind of tune in. So that is what I am looking to do. I'm looking to help the audience. I am hoping to give you a space of a real analyst situation. I want to be as real with you as possible, and I want it to basically be a situation where you can kind of come on here and use this kind of as like a tool, right? And then you can do your own analysis, which I always recommend. Always do your own analysis. Don't always just go with what people are doing, but hopefully it will give you some tips, some tricks, some things to look out for, and possibly an easier way to learn how to watch for the market. So let's go ahead and get started. We are actually going to be using TradingView today because for some reason Forex.com will not allow me to pull up the charts for some reason. So let's just go ahead. We'll get started. Same pairs, except we're going to actually trade out gold and US for just gold here this time. So without further ado, let's just go ahead. We'll get started. Let me move this guy over and we'll get it going. So let's see kind of where we are. I mean, if you're basically just simply looking at just maybe like last week's candle, it's looking very bearish. It's giving very much bearish energy. I can already see a level kind of being created here. Of course, remember, this is on the weekly, so I don't want to go too crazy, but this is looking like it's kind of creating a level here. But I feel like I'm also kind of seeing a little something here too, or we could potentially be seeing a little something there too. So let's actually go down to the daily. So it's a possibility that we could even be seeing some consolidation. I'll move this down just a tad. Some consolidation in between here, in which case we can always just create a box around the consolidation, and then that way we'll know when we finally, when the market finally decides to break out, then we can trade the breakout. So I feel like I'm seeing a lot of consolidation. This is the first week of a new month, so there is expected to have, or we are expected to have rather, some news. Usually at the very beginning and the very end of the month can be pretty news-packed, impactful news, at the beginning and the end of each month. So let's see. I think it looks like Monday, there's a little bit of news on Monday for US, for AUD. Looks like Chef is on there. Tuesday too, Wednesday as well. Thursday looks like maybe just CAD has a little bit. Nope, actually US has news on Thursday too. So it looks like every day this week we're going to be running into some news. So if you're somebody that does not like to trade the news or is still a little unsure on how to trade the news, this week may be a time for you to just be extra careful. I won't say don't. I think it's good practice to kind of, get it in, but just be a little bit mindful that the news may impact some of your trades this week. So let me actually make this a little bit bigger so we can see a little bit more clear. So yeah, I'm going to be waiting to kind of see what this consolidation looks like, unless the news kind of drives it past one of these levels and then we get a break in, we get that break and then we'll be looking at the retest. I'll be kind of waiting. Should we get something, I'm going to change this just for a second. Should we get something that looks somewhat like, something like that, actually, that's silly. Let me just give it to you straight. So if we happen to see something that looks a little something like this, then we get this retest, then I'll be shorting. If we can get through here, through this level that we were previously at, if price is able to get through there, which it looks like it possibly could, I mean, probability game, right? and then we get essentially what I'm looking for. Let me rephrase because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I'm looking for the break. Once I get the break, I'm looking for the retest. Once that retests, I'm getting in for a short. I'm only going to stay in to about right there, which is where price was previously at. Let me go ahead and get the rectangle joint so you can see what I'm talking about. So I would only take it to about there, and that's because we're looking at this from a daily standpoint, and even on a daily standpoint, we may not make it all the way down there. Maybe not. If that's what happens, we could just see back and forth and consolidation. Now, granted, could it go the other way? Yeah. If we're looking, and if I'm going to be getting in, rather, I'm looking for that break, that retest. Keep in mind too, the market doesn't always retest, but I'm looking for that break, that retest, and then I'll be looking to long the market, and then following my stops, or following my stop losses up, so that I can move myself into profit. So let me jump over to the 4 hour real quick. Oh wow, that looks crazy. That's fine. We're just gonna leave it. Not a problem. I'll delete it later. Let me push out. So it looks like we have been in a little bit of consolidation, just a little bit. In this, like, it's starting to get smaller and smaller. So remember, like I've said on previous episodes, where when you see the market starting to act somewhat of like a spring, and it's kind of, you have a spring, like a physical spring in your hand, and you go to pull that spring back. And then when the spring lets go, it's either shooting up or shooting down. It's making some type of impact and move so you can collect some pips. So let me double check real quick before we move on to EU on the hourly. Try to ignore the blue. I know that is wild. Sorry. So yeah, I'll be just waiting to see what the market, what it's going to do. We just have to wait and give it some time, especially with that news that could really, really change the direction. So I am keeping this one in mind. Not quite ready to pull the trigger on anything on AU. So let's go to EU. Starting on the weekly, I mean, let me see. I'm not convinced that we're headed in a long direction just yet. I need to see it get past here. If I don't see anything get past here, I'm pretty sure that we are going to continue in a bearish direction. But until I can see some type of movement past here, because as you can see previously, this is what? This is January, so this is the start of the year. This was, of course, January as well. Price got up there and hesitated, and now here we are in March, and it did the same thing. So I'm not sure that the market will be able to make it past here, especially being that it had previously tried to grab some of that liquidity and it wasn't able to kind of push past. So my suggestion, of course, is always to wait. Always be patient. Always watch before you watch your trade. Make sure that you're checking with your confluences before you even go ahead to make the trade. I will tell you, I lost a couple last week. And I think when I lost the first one, I was like, okay, that's enough. Like, I'm going to just step aside for a minute so that I can allow the market to do what it needs to do. Evidently, I am choosing wrong and maybe not even, double checking on confluences. So definitely use your confluences. Those will only be super helpful for you. So like I said, because we are rejecting here, I don't see it going on in the long direction. I do believe, because it is doing what it's doing, we could either see a bit of consolidation here, or we could see, let me grab another rectangle here real quick. Or we could potentially see a break retest. If that's the case, I'm only going to ride it till here. And that's because previously that's where the market had stopped at, and that's where the price started kind of rejecting at. So I would only hold it until there. And then once it gets to, your take profit, I would go ahead and get out. And I would even watch price kind of once it gets to this space and see kind of how it's reacting. Because if you have a stop loss set up, or a take profit set up, and you see that price is getting to the take profit but not quite finishing and it's hesitating, take your money. Just get out. Just get out while you still can. with some pips in there. But if you are kind of chasing that, or trailing rather, that stop anyway, that's what it's going to be. You'll have, by the time price kind of gets here, let's get for a short so I can show you what I mean. So in this scenario, like let's say price started to get in and we're starting to trade in this area. Like we broke through, we hit the retest and we're starting to do good. Let's say that my stop loss is like right above here. Take profit, I would say, is probably like right above here. And I'm just using this as an example. Stop loss is like right about there. Price has, let me break this down real quick, give you a better idea. I'm gonna just remove it. It's okay, because I want to be able to show you what I mean real quick. I'll try to make this quick as possible, just so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So, let's move this guy over. When I stop using TradingView for a while, I'd be forgetting where stuff is at. Okay, so let's get us back to where we were. I think we were just like a little bit above. Yeah, no, we were a little bit above or down below here, right around here. Okay, so let me make some marks real quick with my brush tool just to kind of give you an example. So like, let's say price was kind of farting around and then boom, price started going down. We've seen a break and then we've seen this retest, and then now price is kind of making its lower lows and lower highs and that sort of thing. This is looking terrible, but that's okay. I just needed to show you where I would be putting how I would be operating with my stop loss. So you see price break down, retest, and then it's heading down. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be moving my stop loss into profit. So I move it down, give it enough room just in case it decides it wants to kind of peek back up there. Okay, so like let's say, all right, you've done that. Price is now here and it hit here for a retest. I'm not going to be able to bring that down anymore, so I'm going to just use the brush tool kind of as an example. My stop loss is going here. Prices come down, it's kind of retesting in this area. Price is down here. My stop loss is here. Same thing. Prices come down, it's gotten back up, and it's failing to get back up there, and it's heading back down again. Stop loss is here. So that way, if you're not, even if it doesn't get all the way down to your take profit, you'll still have some, you'll be finishing out in profit. So that's just an example of kind of what I will be doing or looking for when it comes down to EU. Again, keeping news in mind. Let's switch it over to UJ. Did we even switch down? Okay, let me back up. Sorry, I know I'm going too fast. Let's go to the daily real quick. So yeah, I think we could possibly see some consolidation, a little bit of back and forth. And I just wanted to break it down because I was on the weekly and I do apologize. Let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour, same thing. I feel like we're going to be seeing some consolidation. Now, granted, on a lower time frame, you could easily write this down, but you got to see what's going to happen when it gets to this previous area where kind of price had stopped at. But you could easily ride this down to about here for a short position, and then call it, you know what I'm saying? And take your pips from there if you're wanting to use a shorter time frame, which I did say that I was working on, so I should be probably taking my own advice, right? All right, same kind of scenario. Same kind of scenario. I still feel the same. If price is managing to get past this area where it previously had rejected at, then I'll be shorting the market, but only till here where price was again previously stopping at. So let's go ahead and switch over to UJ. So on UJ, let me get my weekly chart. Okay. UJ, we have a love-hate relationship with UJ. That's fine. It's looking like consolidation this week, even on the weekly. So let's go down to daily real quick and get an idea. Let me start to draw some zones, just so that it's, making sense, and you can kind of see what I'm looking at as well. Okay, So as of right now, very much consolidation, even on the daily. So I feel like it's kind of a confirmation in itself to see that it's doing the same thing on both the weekly and the daily. So let's scoot down to the 4 hour and see what that looks like. Oh shoot, what happened? Okay. So yeah, kind of the same thing. Right now, I wouldn't even, it's kind of doing the spring effect. I wouldn't even take a position because it's just kind of hanging out in the middle. It's not going up or down. It's just kind of trading back and forth. So even on the 1 hour, like let's mark out the zones. Even on the 1 hour, you can do the same thing. So that's kind of where price was previously at. It's a lot of consolidation. I would have to see it kind of either break this previous low or break the previous high in order to feel like it was steady, you know, heading in a direction to actually take a position. So not going to be doing anything with this until I can see what's going on. They do have some news, or I shouldn't say they. US has some news, so that could possibly impact this one as well. So let's jump over to GU, starting on the weekly. And let me get, I don't know, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but this week, especially with the news. But let's see. So I can see a zone here. I can even see a little bit of something here. So I'll be waiting to see what price is going to do inside of that. But this is on the weekly. So right now it's looking bearish. It looks like we're going to continue down. We have to give it time to develop and see what's going to happen. Let me jump over to the daily real quick. This is just, it just does not look good. Not from a long standpoint. Like if it's a day trade, then you can probably manage to get some type of pip situation happening. But if it is on a swing situation, I would not be taking a position at all. But just looking at this, you could possibly just write it down to here, because if it's going to just continue and it keeps projecting this area like it previously has, then you could just write it down to here and then see what happens once price gets there. Again, news could be a huge factor. Let's jump to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, well, you know, it's interesting because on the 4 hour, I feel like I'm seeing higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, a little bit high. Well, this one's kind of meeting, so kind of the same. A little bit of consolidation, but higher high, higher low, a little bit higher, but we are rejecting here, so you got to be careful with that. Kind of the same thing on GU. Like I would not be making many moves on GU as of right now. I did not close out the week with a position, so we like that. I got out, I managed to get out, and I didn't get out in the best way though. Like I lost that one. So that was the one that I said that I had lost a little bit earlier on, which is fine. It happens. So that one's gone. But you're just going to have to wait. I could possibly see riding it back up if I continue to see price kind of rejecting, but keep in mind too, this is on the 1 hour. If it's not matching on the daily, if it's not matching on the 4 hour, then you may want to just leave it alone and let it kind of develop a little bit before you make a move. But I could see it potentially trying to get back up here, and I wouldn't mind holding a long position for a short period of time to collect those pips. So because we are not on the same platform, the Forex platform, I'm just going to do gold alone, and gold is interesting. So gold, I don't really know. It's challenging to look at because there's so many gaps, right? There's so many things, so many spaces that we would like to see filled. I think the higher you go up, the more closed it looks, but let's see. So gold is a conundrum for sure. Gold is looking like consolidation and indecision. I shouldn't say consolidation. I'll just say indecision. It's looking like a lot of indecision right now, especially on the weekly. Let's try the daily. Yeah, I'm seeing a zone right here, though. We can mark that off, at least. But I'm also seeing something here, too. So we just have to wait to see what price is going to do. This could potentially be... Let me grab my brush tool. higher high, sorry, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then hopefully we can get a breakthrough here, a retest for a new higher high. Again, probability game, you have to wait. I hope that what you're doing is just using this kind of as a small guide and then going back and doing your own analysis. That is highly important, and it's really, really important for your confidence in the market, and that's honestly going to be a big portion of how you're going to become better. So I hope that this was helpful. Like, share, and subscribe. If there is something, like I say, in the future that you would like to ask me, I actually have the email below in the description box, so you can email me your questions if you don't want to ask them in the comments. I hope you guys have a fantastic trading week. Get after it.